And folks, welcome once again to yet another edition of Nerd Week Live here on YouTube, brought to you by us, the folks at Nerd Caliber. I'm Rodney Brown. I'm the editor-in-chief of Nerd Caliber, first-person shooter as a cosplay photographer, mostly on Facebook, and the other one, the IG thing, Instagram, and also Burly Adopter on Twitter, a couple other places. Joining me tonight, we'll start right directly below me with the, I was going to say something awful, so I'll say the Nightwing shirt. Sir.
I am Byron D. Zero, son of Robin, Crown Prince of Nerddom, and contributing writer for Nerd Caliber. On top of that, I do a little bit of streaming these days. If you're lucky tonight, you might be able to catch me doing some Twitch sings after the show.
You're gonna sing?
Yes, Twitch sings, karaoke game for Twitch. Yes, we'll see. I am glad to be here. I'm still reeling off of the awesomeness that was Endgame.
As are we all? Yes. Go. You seen it?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Okay. We wouldn't do spoilers anyway, but now we really won't do spoilers.
Next week.
See it all the time.
And Byron. No more sugar tonight.
It was a Game of Thrones reference.
It was a Game of Thrones. It was. Also, if Byron is doing his Twitch things, it would be on Byron's Twitch channel. Just to let you folks know that it would not be.
Yeah. Nope. Twitch.tv/Byron D0. Also, one more shameless plug. I have my own anime podcast called The Weeb Trash Can, and for the next 4 weeks, we will be doing a weekly episode of our podcast to celebrate our 1-year anniversary. After that, it will go back to bi-weekly. So
cool.
Check it out.
And also
Weeb Trash Can, y'all.
Weeb Trash Can.
I can smell it from here.
And
smells like green tea and weird shrimp snacks.
Yes.
Also joining us tonight with the most awesome Fraggle hair in the universe.
Oh, Fraggle!
Yes, thank you. I worked on my Fraggle hair today, and I had to really try to get in the corner so that y'all could see it. But thank you very much. Hi, I'm Gogo Incognito. I'm a contributing video hostess and interviewer for Nerd Caliber. I've been around for a little while. I am doing a show this weekend. I am your resident nerdy showgirl, and if you're anywhere near Nashville, Dirty Nerdy Burlesque is coming back this weekend with an ode to scoundrels, villains, and anti-heroes. We have it's going to be great. It's on May the 4th, specifically. And as you can imagine, there's going to be some Star Wars people in there, and it's going to be amazing. We also do a cosplay contest, lots of amazing prizes, all that good stuff. Here's how you find it. www.dirtynerdyburlesque.com. It's that easy, and that's how you can keep up with where our shows go to different cons and whatnot around the country.
Cool. And before I get into some plugs for us, Nico, hello. Xavier, hello. No Name, hello. Sarah, hello. Fredo, hello. Who am I missing here? I think that's who we've got so far here in the chat. Claw Madness and Amaral, hello from earlier on. Luminous, hello. And Foy de Pursty, hello. I've probably butchered that name. Sorry.
And we need a little disclaimer that runs across the screen that says
pronunciation may not be accurate. May the 4th is also, in addition, May the 4th be with you, it's also Free Comic Book Day. I will personally be at Double Midnight Comics in Manchester, New Hampshire. Manny will be at Jetpack Comics in Rochester. We may have other people at other places that I don't know about yet, but we'll find out.
I will most likely be at Comicopia in Boston.
And I will be at Starbase, or somebody in my world will be at Starbase 1552 Comics in Franklin, Tennessee, which is just right next to Nashville. But that is my comic book shop.
Awesome. I got it right. Foy D. Pursty said I got it right. Woo. All right.
Whoa, well done.
And so after May the 4th, we will have our week-long, May 11th through May 19th, Cape Cod Cosplay Photo Shoot Week on Cape Cod. If you're anywhere in the Boston area or in the New England area, And if you can make it out to the South Fleet Motor Inn and South Wellfleet anytime during that week, we will try to connect cosplayers and photographers to wonderful locations all around the Cape before the season starts, so beaches are empty, and it's just a beautiful place to do photography. The South Fleet gives us a fantastic room rate for people who want to show up and stay over. So that can be found on our Facebook page. That's one of the events. It's probably the pinned top event. Also on our Facebook page, and I want to get this out there, even though this is only for people in the Boston area who happen to be on the chat or watching this right now. Tomorrow night, we got an opportunity from AIM, not Advanced Idea Mechanics, Allied Image Marketing, the people who do the press screenings that we go to try to flog out the fact that if you are interested in the Amazon series The Boys, which is premiering sometime this summer, tomorrow night, May 1st, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. at AMC Boston Common, they will be showing the first episode for free.
Really, they've got some good marketing on that. They really do.
They've got some amazing marketing on that.
They are coming at it from different ways, different places, really, really approaching a variety of audiences, and I think that's great. So
you need to go to our Facebook page to see the post, because that has the link that you need to go to get these tickets. Facebook.com/nerdcaliber. And in case you aren't familiar with The Boys, it is a ridiculously hard, mature rated comic book series from Garth Ennis, and the Red Band trailer that's out there makes it look like they are matching that. So you do not want to take a kid to this show.
Not at all.
But if you're into a group of people whose job it is to stop drug-addled, sex-addicted, monstrous superheroes from doing non-heroic things by extreme violent measures, this is the show for you, and you might want to check that out. Anyway, go to our Facebook page if you're in the Boston area and you're free tomorrow night and you want to go see this. And that's our plugs. So, moving into our very first topic, and I'm just checking, there's a lot of chat going back. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Nope, that's everybody saying hello to everybody. Awesome. Say hello to everybody there. Cool. Not that you know what this is, but on my double screens, YouTube is over there. So that's why I'm doing this. And I'm not flamenco dancing.
But it'd be absolutely acceptable if you were.
Well, thank you.
Completely. I'm here for all the dancing. I do it every time I'm on. Well, I can't stop.
So our first topic, we've got a light list of topics because basically nobody's releasing news since it gets swamped by Endgame and Game of Thrones. Just like nothing is going to come out in this past week, but a few things did, and we have those. The first one is that image right there, as wonderfully disturbing as it is the first cover for the upcoming new comic book crossover title, ongoing crossover title, called Batman/Superman. And apparently what it is the Batman Who Laughs, which is a creation that made its debut in the Dark Knight Metal series, and was so popular that it became a Batman Who Laughs mini-series that started in December, is just taken off so incredibly well that DC is making a new Batman-Superman crossover title in which they will be, in theory, going up against a new Sinister Six. Sinister Six is Marvel.
Secret.
Yeah, new Secret Six that is apparently going to be made up of heroes that have been infected by the Joker toxin, which is what created this alternate world Batman Who Laughs, who has somehow made it into the normal continuity. Yeah. This is impressive adoption of a new character. I don't think anything's hit DC this hard in a long time. Probably since the return of Red Hood in his new form.
Oh, yes.
So, Dyslexicon, kind of a heinous love child of Bats and Mr. J. And I mean heinous. He's really evil. He is brutally, brutally evil. You know, think of Bruce Wayne and all of his problems, and then
Of which we can all agree there are many.
there are many,
Oh God, yes.
without that governing stop that
Just
keeps him from
fine.
killing people.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's like basically Joker's psychosis with Bruce's brains.
Yep.
What could go wrong?
A lot.
Everything.
Or if you're DC's, bean counters, what could go right? Everything.
Thing.
The
Ka-ching.
jazz hands go over to the other side. Okay, yeah. It's real. It's interesting because I feel like over the years, and this is part of what pulled me away I was a very young comic book reader, and I was a very passionate one. And again, I may be that person that still loves some of the classics. I have loved newer titles as they come up and they change and they adapt and they change with the times. But then there's some stuff I feel like they're just taking a thing and they're throwing it against the wall and see if it sticks.
Marvel the last 15 years.
There.
Not going to argue that whatsoever. And again, when it comes to comics, I am a DC gal at heart. Completely. I've got my Spider-Man. And I got my Uncanny X-Men. Again, we're going back in time. And then everything else is, DC or Image or Dark Horse or, Top Cow.
Good times.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like it takes a hot minute. It's like, oh, is it real? Is it good? Is it popular? Is it good? Is it good though?
I don't know. Dark Knight's Metal was very, very well received. It made them a ton of money, and it was critically pretty well acclaimed. Luminous sort of asked the same question. Does anyone here like the Batman Who Laughs? I've not read the comics with him. So for DC fans, particularly for Batman fans, apparently this has taken off. It's done well and been well received. Well enough that they gave it its own Batman or his own Batman Who Laughs miniseries that they're in the middle of right now. It's supposed to wrap up in another couple of months. They've extended it an extra issue so they can tie it right into this Batman/Superman thing.
Well, then that'll be a thing that I think next time I go to my favorite comic book shop and I'm picking up my regular stuff, I'll be like, tell me about it. Because I want to hear. Because again, it's always hard. It's hard. Even with your favorites, sometimes you're like, don't mess with them. You know what I mean? And it can be really hard to pick up a new title, even if it's with your favorite franchise.
This is true. Nico, if you're doing laundry and watching at the same time, please do not mix up your colors and your whites. And whatever you do, don't accidentally make a Joker toxin. Just, that would be bad.
Dear.
Watch out for that fabric softener.
The secret ingredient in the Joker toxin was fabric softener.
I knew it. I'm definitely on board for this crossover. It's great that there's a legitimate reason for Batman and Superman to team up against an enemy like that, because it's just like
aside from Martha.
Yeah, true. Very true. End of the day, Martha is the key. But yeah, this is believable in that sense. It's just like, who better to defeat Batman than Batman? But it's like, can he really defeat himself and the Joker at the same time? Probably not. And
this is one of the things I do love about DC though, is when they do get really emotional about it. And when I say emotional, I don't mean I mean when they get introspective and it becomes this meta commentary on the psyche and who we are as people and the anyway. I used to be a social worker. I could wax on about this for a long time, but it is one of those things that really drew me to DC is that they went there in ways that I found were sort of superfluous with other stories. But DC really, they drug that down to where it was really about a lot of it's really in here.
They did. DC, it took them a long time, way too long, to
52.
Well, no, I'm talking even way before that. So the DC social, emotional, and mature relevant commentary stuff started back in the early 1970s with the Green Arrow, Green Lantern crossovers.
Yes. And Thor's a junkie.
Yes. Speedy is a junkie.
Yeah, exactly.
But they still would then have Superboy issues with a freaking flying horse. It took them a long time to figure out sort of where to have a consistent tone of maturity, and then they kind of screwed it all up with New 52. and
Completely. There have been some other Batman things, like the one, like there was like a Batman in a pink suit, and there was a ghost, and like I can't even remember what that was, but I was like, no, take it away, make it not so.
I was gonna say, there were points like in New 52, like the latter half of it, where the Superman stories were going back to that whole idea of there being like strong social commentary. Like when he was going for the whole bro aesthetic, and he had the chains on, he's like, "I'm standing with them."
At that point, it was clear that the New 52 was dead, and Superman was probably the first title that drove that nail right into the coffin. But we're starting to get way out on left field here on this particular title. I think Dyslexicon Joker now in Mountain Fresh Scent, getting back to our fabric softener. I'm trying to think. No, I guess I didn't miss. Sarah, we'll see you when you come back. Foy D. Pursty, yes, there was. What was the flying super horse?
I forgot that name.
Shoot, I never read that.
Well, it was in Superboy mostly, but Crypto the dog and whatever the monkey's name was.
And then there was Streaky the
Streaky the cat, yeah.
Okay, actually, I kind of want to read that. A cat named Streaky?
Yeah.
That speaks to me.
Check them out. Actually, if I can remember this and dig it up, they are coming back in a series, an animated series, I think, that's going to be on DCU, assuming it doesn't get killed with the Warner Brothers stuff, that has all of the Super Pets. And because there was a comic that had all of the Super Pets a few years ago.
Yeah, I remember that. I also didn't read that, even though I'm an animal person. I was just like, mm-mm.
I watched the cartoon series that was on Cartoon Network years ago.
Yes. So let's move on, folks. If you're interested in Batman Who Laughs, check it out. Do what Gogo is going to do. Go ask the experts at your local comic book store. But if you like it already, look forward to this new Batman/Superman series.
It will most likely be a free comic book day.
There will probably be some sort of tease for that, now that I think about it. Good point. Speaking of comics, this is a promotional image that was at New York Comic Con this last fall for H1, which is the integrated superhero universe for the new publishing title Humanoids Inc. The reason that we're talking about that is that the first title, which is this that just came up on your screen, Ignited, in the H1 universe, will be coming out this July. The H1 universe is from the people who made Heavy Metal magazine way back in the 60s and all through the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And it includes some of the brilliant creators from Heavy Metal, Mobius, Jodorowsky. Humanoids has filled shelves with. So this new H1 universe recruited some of the biggest names in comics. John Cassidy from Planetary, Mark Waid from Kingdom Come, just all of these fantastic, Yannick Paquette, Wonder Woman Earth 1. They will be working on this new series called Ignited, which creates a whole new universe of superheroes for this publisher. I haven't seen anything like this, as I struggle to find my control here again, since Valiant launched. If anybody remembers the Valiant titles.
Oh, I do.
So I'm really excited for this.
I think it's interesting, again, growing up in that era when Heavy Metal was the shit. And it was, again, this was a time when it was edgy. Like, think about the word edgy before, like, edgelord took it over. Think about like skate kids and surf punks.
Yeah.
And like actual like goths and whole like, I could quote a bunch of things and the people watching will be like, I have no idea what she's talking about. Anyway, in my youth, I was edgy.
So a
And
couple of
this
weeks
was
ago.
thank you very much. This is a mainstay, so it's really exciting. I really want to see what they'll do. And again, it was interesting because reading the stuff about it and being like, and then being like, oh, I see the pedigree. Oh, I can't wait to see what they're going to bring to new generations. And guys, give it a chance. It could blow your mind.
I think so too. Geek with me, Byron, about Valiant.
Oh, okay. So, the character She from Valiant, that was a good time for me. Um, what's the other? Who was the one with the Japan flag on his chest, pretty much?
Blood,
Blood.
Blood. I can't remember his name. That's the one that Vin Diesel is doing the movie for. They're actually making a
Yes.
movie about, or they're in pre-production for a movie. Um,
There's also actually a pretty good fan film on YouTube that starred Jason David Frank.
yes,
You
that's
want?
right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quantum and Woody. Harbingers.
Yes.
Harbingers sounds to me like what Ignited is going to be. It was the story that explained how superpowers happened in the Valiant universe, and that's what
Yes.
Ignited is apparently going to be.
Yeah, and from what I've been reading on the whole on the H1 universe, I'm intrigued. Like, I'm really digging the artwork. Big Country seems like one of the really interesting titles because I'm getting vibes of hack slash from it.
Yep.
Almost.
Boom.
Now I haven't gone too deep into the other titles that'll be coming out, just the Ignited, which will be the first one. But Byron has it right. They've mentioned by name other titles that will be coming out within the H1 combined universe, and there's a lot of them. So they really are committed to this. And if you've got the creative minds behind publishing heavy metal,
And again, I want to see, gosh, don't you want to see a resurgence of that though, Rodney? Do you think it would stand the test of time?
yes. As far as I know, it's still being published in Europe. I'd have to look that up. I don't
Okay.
know that that it is still being published here in the States. Anybody who's a heavy metal fan in the audience, please check on that for us.
And again,
I know.
yeah, I haven't seen it in ages, but it was a part of my youth for sure.
I noticed with the cover that they have for their free comic day preview, it's an homage to the heavy metal covers almost.
Which were like poster works of art, each one.
Yep,
Yes.
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes, a little bit of a sexual awakening I had with some of their covers, I have to say.
Den, Richard Corbin's Den, which every character, including the males, were buck naked all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, Mom wouldn't let me put that one on the wall.
Well, yeah, no, you probably wouldn't. And all this is heavy metal. This is what it would do, folks. If you don't remember this, Den, every single panel was full color painted. It was not, and this was back in the 80s, so there was obviously no digital coloring of any kind. But it wasn't, it wasn't color pencil or marker or anything. It was full color paint. Amazing work. Anyway,
That's impressive.
I can't wait. July is when Ignited comes out, which is the first title. I will be checking this out. I guarantee I'm going to be looking forward to this. I like Mark Waid as a writer. Love the art and everything I've seen so far. So let's see if this can kickstart something I didn't mention in the Batman story. Apparently, this last month, DC kicked Marvel's ass into the ground in actual physical comic book sales. Marvel is killing it at the box office, clearly, but
Right.
they're having a real problem finding their voice in the comics, and I'd like to see something like Ignited do kind of what Valiant did back in the 90s and get an awful lot of the garbage out of Marvel by giving them real competition as a third publisher. Please.
Fingers
Moving on
crossed.
to our next topic. So that right there is one of the characters from League of Legends, Riot's game, Riot's only game, really, right? Riot's main game, aside from League of Legends, other things like board games and so on.
Eh.
I love the fact that this is a space galaxy version of one of the characters, which is about as redundant as you can get. That's as opposed to the New Hampshire galaxy or the Kitchen galaxy, the space galaxy,
The Hot Pocket Galaxy.
the Hot Pocket galaxy.
Yeah.
Who was-
One, the Samsung Galaxy.
No, but there we go. Knew somebody had to have a better one.
Yes.
Anyway, the reason this is up there is because this looks really cool. It's really pretty, and the story is absolutely nothing like that whatsoever. The story is that last week Riot filed motions to block their current employees from taking legal action against them for things like gender discrimination. In fact, specifically, this one is about gender discrimination. There are 2 women who are suing Riot for that, and Riot is trying to force them into private arbitration, which
No,
means
there's actually more women that are suing. It's the 2. There's 2 specifically
Right.
out of multiple that have been forced into private arbitration.
that they are attempting to. I haven't seen an update on whether the motion has been granted or not.
Oh, you're correct. Yes, they're trying to do the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there have been more lawsuits than that.
Yes. So the problem is, well, first off, I would like to see this make it to court, because I firmly believe that the idea of forced arbitration is illegal, or should be illegal. It's been proven to be unenforceable in other situations. There are a number of cases, so there's precedent out there in which mostly tech companies have tried to force employees into arbitration because they signed that in their contract. And the judges and legal authorities have said, yeah, you know what? This is not an enforceable part of a contract. So you can't stop somebody from approaching the law and getting their just due within the law.
So essentially, they're trying to set up gag orders for all the people that are.
No, that's a very specific legal term, and let's not use that term. What they're trying to do is prevent them from suing by forcing them to do what was in the contract they signed, and say they have to go to a third-party, non-judicial arbitrator who will supposedly listen to both sides, and then
Supposedly.
allegedly.
Yeah.
Nico, this is gorgeous. It came right from Riot's website, so it's not a wallpaper site thing, but if you just go to do a Google image search at a high enough resolution to make your wallpaper, this will come right up. So it's freely available for download. Anyway, sorry about that. Yes, allegedly they will weigh both sides and come up with a allegedly suitable compromise that will satisfy both parties. When
But
you've
it's
got
in
somebody who's being
private,
sued
yeah.
for gender discrimination, there is no satisfaction.
Yeah, this is something that I actually spent a part of my day after reading a bunch of stuff, and I've been keeping up with this on Kotaku. They've been doing a wonderful job of really following up and hitting hard. And I think they were like one of the first who actually broke some of the news on this. But I spoke to 2 women who, one formerly worked in the video game industry and one still does, and I will not say where they work at all, but I want to. One of them, one of the things that one of them said to me is how upset they are because now Riot is doing this huge thing of being like, but we're bringing in a diversity officer this week or soon. We're bringing in a chief diversity officer. Meanwhile, it's like, oh, the people of y'all. And this has been a thing that's been going on for years. And it's not just Riot, but Riot's in the news right now. But like they're trying to like pander to like they're trying every PR thing and trying to get, again, when you do private arbitration, you don't get the benefit of like having a court thing where you can get press in there and like it becomes like instead of it being public, it's almost like settling to the side.
It's exactly like settling to the side.
It's exactly what it is, and it absolutely stinks. I can't see how their reputation could get worse. And
Oh, let them try. Byron, jump on in there.
yeah, go, buddy. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
The thing that I'm taking from this, because I'm not that fluent in legalese, but it's just by doing this, by getting a private arbitrator, they can get someone that is on paper impartial to settle this, but is really they're in Riot's pocket.
Yes.
And that is terrifying to think about, because Riot's a big enough corporation where they can do this kind of stuff and go unquestioned.
Yes.
It's like for Game of Thrones fans when Tyrion Lannister was being tried for something, for the death of Joffrey, and this is going back, and again, the who was the arbitrator? Tywin and Cersei, are they going to be fair?
Nope.
No. So just think about it that way. Think about the things in your favorite shows where you're like, well, that was not fair. It's not fair.
Just almost any conflict in Shield Hero currently.
Well, it's true. Yeah. Let's try not to get into that comparison, because this is real life serious consequences. Right. This is whether or not a company that allegedly has a history of gender discrimination, complete lack of response to sexual harassment complaints. Just read the Kotaku articles. It's horrifying.
It is.
Can get away with preventing people from suing them for doing those things just because there was a clause in their contract that said they couldn't do that. They couldn't sue.
It's Privilege 101.
Privilege 101. Well, in this case, it's money privilege. Nico, yes, we do, in fact, still have a dozen or so people watching. In case you were wondering, which you were. Otherwise, you wouldn't have typed it. So I really hope that this turns out in the defendant's favor, not in Riot's favor. This whole thing about forced arbitration has been kicked to the curb by judges in the tech industry repeatedly over the last few years. It is not a defensible thing that you can put into a contract. So fingers crossed that these ladies get their day in court. However that turns out, whether they have proof and it turns out to their favor, at least let them have their day in court. Now, on to something so much better. Sorry.
In a manner of speaking.
Folks, have you seen the new Sonic trailer? So that image just popped up right there, and that's kind of the reaction all over the internet to the new Sonic trailer. I think the best meme that I've seen already so far is somebody putting that right up against an image of E.T. with that same expression and going, wow, when did E.T. get blue fur? So what do we think, folks? Let's jump right in.
Byron's got a lot of thoughts. You go, buddy.
Yeah, so many thoughts. So years of movie reviewing, I've learned to be a little more impartial to IPs that I've grown up with or have a fondness for. And so I'm able to look at it from both vantage points. I did it with Power Rangers. I feel like I can do it with this. First things first, everyone's like, oh, Jim Carrey is the best part of this. I'm like, are you sure about that? Because, he's doing the whole gay fish says what joke, what? And I'm just like, really, Jim? This is what we gone to now? This is what we're doing now? We're doing that bit? Can you not? Everything leading up to the end of the trailer where he's actually in the more iconic Eggman garb, I'm just like, nah, I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I mean, up to that point, he's a really annoying villain. Just a really annoying twirled mustache villain.
Yes.
I agree with you 100% about it's too Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Too much saturation. So it's kind of like Byron, if I'm getting you correctly, it's like ham on top of ham on top of ham until you're like, I don't want to eat this sandwich. Like
It's a shaggy. Yes, it's a shaggy ham sandwich.
Oh.
Which is pretty much the default status of Jim Carrey. You know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, with Jim Carrey, you kind of know what you're gonna get, but if you're done, I'll give my thoughts. Are you done? I don't want to cut you off at all.
I know. Well, yeah, that's my thoughts on Carrey, but I love Ben Schwartz as a voice actor. You know, if there's anything positive I can take from this, he sounds like Sonic. You know, that's cool.
Right?
Yeah. You know, he's proven himself as a voice actor in this past year and a half, doing work like Ninja Turtles, DuckTales. He's got the chops. But why did we have to do this look? Why did we have to do this look? It's like, we have an iconic look. Why couldn't we just go with that? This reeks of like that whole 90s aesthetic from movies like Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, but what it reeks of Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, that too.
Which I'm actually really excited to see.
Yeah.
Same.
I can't wait to see it, and I'm probably going to see it like 5 times, and yeah.
All right, I called dibs on the screening.
Byron, take a breath. Go.
Okay. I'm going to come at this from 2 angles. Number one is I don't have the emotional connection to Sonic just because I was playing different games and doing different things in the height of the Sonic era. So I can look at it with a little less like that people who, you know, Sonic was such a big thing. And to me, I'm looking at it and I'm like, this looks like, and again, like we talked about the 90s and the mustache twirling and the soundtrack of Coolio, which you're like, is this, is it set in the 90s? Like, this makes no sense at all. Or are they telling us, guys, it's gonna be this cheesy? Like it's literally like it's going to be like it's going to be hammed up. Like this is camp. To which I'm like, oh, is it camp? If it's camp, I can appreciate that. I can watch that. I may not love it, but I know what it is going into it, and I think it's gonna be harder on the 90s kids who grew up and love Sonic and like have a Sonic tattoo or whatever, then it's going to be on younger ones who've heard the legend of Sonic or played other things, or people like me that's like, oh yeah, I like Sonic. Yeah, give me a thing that I can like sit around and like I'm eating cereal and be like, oh, it's a good movie, it's fine, you know, that kind of thing. I think it looks
fine,
but to everybody who is feeling the way they're feling, I understand because I was with you with the Resident Evil movies.
Oh yeah.
So I get you. This isn't me being callous. This is me just being like.
That was a good zombie sound, by the way, Byron.
Thank you.
The impression I get out of this, one, I agree with you about Ben. I think he's, as much as we can tell, because you hardly hear Sonic talk much at all in this thing. I think he does a good job. I think that Carrey could possibly do a good job once he turns full Eggman, because he got the look. Once you see that just a little bit at the end, boy, does he nail the look. But the overall feel, based on just this one trailer, I get is, does anybody remember the live-action Rocky and Bullwinkle?
I try to forget that movie.
That's kind of what I get.
I remember a trailer. I was like, that looks terrible.
It was pretty terrible. Aside from some really wonderful things, like actually having Robert De Niro playing Fearless Leader. That was outstanding. But, yeah, it looks like that attempt to merge live action and some sort of animation, where when you've got essentially one character, Sonic, in a completely live action universe, you're going to wind up. You can make the universe believable in Pikachu or Detective Pikachu because it's a different universe. They're setting a live action.
World.
It's in world,
and it looks good. I've watched all the like break down every scene, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait. Seriously.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. So I look at this, and it's the kind of thing that when it hits cable, I'm going to watch it because I think there's probably some funny bits. And which is not the thing that a studio wants to hear when they're putting out the trailer for what's supposed to be a big, Well, maybe not
Well,
blockbuster, but a big movie. It's a video game movie. They suck.
I was gonna say one thing. Honestly, I'd probably be a lot more forgiving if they went for something akin to the Rocky and Bullwinkle idea, where it's like they came out of the game. These characters came out of the game and are reigniting their battle in our world.
I think that may be the case. So this is Robotnik when he first appears. This is Jim Carrey.
No, but in the trailer, he's from this world.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
I don't know that we're sure about that, especially with the end. No, they do say call someone, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's very nebulous. I feel like the trailer was, here's Sonic, he looks cute, we all love Sonic, he go fast. He's a badass, he can do all these things, and then it's like, here's Jim Carrey hamming it up, and then second, here's the character, which is what, Dr. Robotnik, right?
Right.
Yes.
That's how I felt. Is like, it didn't introduce Dr. Robotnik first. It introduced Jim Carrey, and I felt like that was sloppy. It was like, hey, come watch it because we've got this star. It's like, well, maybe
I think that there's definitely some sort of alternate world, whether Sonic is from there or not. There's some sort of alternate world thing going on, because in that shot, let me bring that shot back up. This is Carrey as the full-on Robotnik, and there's giant mushrooms around there.
and then the mustache.
And he's got the mustache and the bald stuff, but there's he is in an alien world. There's no question about that. That isn't Earth.
Absolutely.
So I think that there's going to be some sort of alternate world aspect to it. However they play it up, they don't explain it in the first trailer, and honestly, I don't think that wouldn't kill the movie for me if it wasn't. So I don't think it's important enough to put in the first trailer. But you're right. If I watched the movie and went, hey, why is Sonic the only thing that's this weird? At least I made this. At least in the movie Paul's an alien. We know that.
I love that movie.
Oh, yeah, great movie.
Absolutely.
Put a weirdo in a weird situation. Go watch Paul.
That's I actually go back to that one sometimes when
Tessa.
Yeah.
I wasn't even going to mention this, but yeah, what's up with making the rings teleportation portals? Where did that? I didn't play the games hardly at all. Byron, is that in a game that I missed, or?
Whenever they went to like the secret zones, there would be like a big ring for Sonic to jump through. Like
all right.
The levels where you get like the Chaos Emeralds. Maybe that's what that is.
All right. Ghostly audios. Yes, Paul was amazing. Anyway, we're running with a short subject matter. We're running along here, or a short list of subjects. So we're going to move into our last topic. Did you like that, kids? Did you like that movie? Their Spider-Verse movie with all their spider people? Well, guess what? You're going to get to see a buttload more of this stuff. The news is that Sony Pictures Television, mind you, has signed a 5-year deal rumored to be 7 figures. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 9 figures.
9.
That's the billions, folks. I mean, that's hundreds of millions. That's hundreds of millions. For Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who are the two people who wrote and directed Into the Spider-Verse. The deal is to create lots and lots of Spider-Verse content for Sony Pictures Television. Yeah.
Great.
All right. Yes.
Great.
Yes,
I think they deserve it. I'm here for it. I'll try out whatever they want to do.
Pretty much. Please have a Spider-Ham solo.
I would love an entire Spider-Ham series, like just like him in his own world.
With that, and that's John Mulaney, right? Am I saying the last name?
Yes,
right?
John Mulaney did the voice.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Just correct.
So
Just correct.
I didn't realize these two guys also did Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Another absolute just stellar bit of animation that was kind of a game changer at the time.
And outside of that, in the live action world, they did 21 and 22 Jump Street.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I can't speak on that. Sorry.
Yeah.
I've actually never seen them either.
Yeah, I gotta say, they were certainly really funny, and they really played up on the fact that it was absolutely ridiculous for anybody to believe that these people were high school students. I'll give them that they really just, went at it. And Ice Cube as a really pissed off police captain.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so these guys are going to be making all sorts of, no details yet on exactly what they're going to be making, but making, a couple of $100 million worth of stuff based on the Spider-Verse for Sony television. Ghostly Audios thought the art style was actually really great, and the story, I agree, both the story was really good, the art style was so innovative.
Are we talking about Into the Spider-Verse?
Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
Amazing. I haven't seen Endgame yet because I'm waiting for my birthday week, which is next week. So happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday
Thank
to
you
you,
very much.
Gogo.
Thank you much. Thank you very much. But I have to say, before I go see Endgame, so I can't comment on that, Into the Spider-Verse, I think was the best movie of the year. It was a movie where literally, even like in a theater where they had reclining seats, I had to lean forward. I was like on the edge of my seat, jaw dropping. And I've rewatched it a bunch of times since it's come out now on video. It's not quite the same when you're watching it on like a TV as opposed to this, but really I was like, I'm seeing something special and monumental.
And Gogo Ghostly Audios just wished you a happy birthday in Spanish. So,
Gracias.
yeah, I would like to think they're going to be taking some of the art style, some of the animators, some of the look, some of the feel, something from Into the Spider-Verse into almost everything that they're going to be doing in this new deal.
Absolutely.
But even if they don't, if they say they do a Spider-Man Noir short series and they decide to go down a completely different path, they decide to go down almost a Sin City path, I'm fine with that. I'd be
Will it into the universe right now.
Yes. As much as I agree with Ghostly and all of us here that the animation and the art style in Into the Spider-Verse was absolutely just innovative, beautiful, incredible. I'm comfortable with them bringing in different things. Sort of like I just watched finally the Netflix shorts of Love, Death, and Robots.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched those yet either.
Nope. On the list of things to do.
So the fact that they jump from animation style to animation style in each one of the different shorts is, I think, a good thing. It gives you a break. They go from, like amazing straight up rotoscoping, like what's his name? I can't think of the director that does that. To clearly made on like an Unreal Engine 4 or some video game, cinematic style, to classic line drawing animation in each different story. I'm fine if that's what they want to do with any of the Spider-Verse stuff. Make the art match the story. That's cool. Penny Parker, make it an anime.
I would love to see that.
Me too. So I'm looking at this article to see if they give me any indication of when anything will come out and where it will come out, because Sony doesn't have its... Well, aside from the PlayStation stuff, Sony doesn't have its own platform. They're talking about developing for other cable and streaming platforms. Nothing in here about when they might expect anything to come out of them.
Maybe on Hulu?
I would maybe. I think they're going to do that kind of money, that kind of bidding war. We're going to see them. We're going to see multiple things in multiple places.
Oh yeah,
and I'm okay with that.
I wouldn't be surprised to see it on like. Go ahead.
Did they also do the Lego movie?
No.
Thing?
Not that I saw. I'd have to look at IMDb, but it wasn't in the article that I saw.
Okay. Different article. Sorry.
I would really. I expect them to be in like an HBO or Showtime or Stars. One of them with something. I do expect them to be in Hulu because of the Marvel connection, and Disney, of course, now owning almost every bit of Hulu. But they could also wind up. They could be developing something for the PlayStation Network, which would be sad, but because I don't have one. They could, they'll be developing for all kinds of platforms. Whoever wants to pick up their stuff would be my guess. Anyway, that's our show, folks. We're running way longer than I thought. We talked a lot.
It was exciting topics.
There were exciting
was.
topics, even though
It
they're
was
very short
really
ones.
good stuff.
And we didn't spoil Endgame or Game of Thrones for anybody, so yay. I didn't think of any could we please or could we not. Does anybody have one?
What, do you have one?
Yeah. I want to say again, like I haven't seen Endgame. I'm saving it for my birthday, and I have watched Game of Thrones. I'm not saying a peep. Don't be a spoil sport. You know what that gets you? Bad karma. You may think you're being all funny and trolly and whatnot. It gonna come around.
Yep.
Like that bad taco you got from the gas station. It gonna come around.
Oh, I do have a can we not, actually. Can we cut out all this toxicity in the cosplay community? A cosplayer by the name of Smile in a Song, her name on her account, her real name was Riss. She has killed all activity because of all the bullying she's been dealing with because of her cosplays. And, you know, it makes me embarrassed as a cosplayer to see that there's still this much toxicity going on in this day and age. Cut the crap, guys.
Agreed.
So,
Agreed. Again, it's gonna come back at you. Don't be a butt. Can I say? Can I?
Yeah,
you
you can even say don't be a dick.
Don't
because,
be a dick.
you know,
Don't be a poop head. Don't be a shit. I don't know what my curse level is here. So,
your
seriously,
curse level is YouTube does not demonetize for cursing.
Don't be a shithead, you guys.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah,
Don't fucking do it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Obviously, Byron, please, people, don't be a dick. I saw one of the best tweets I've seen in years around what Gogo was talking about spoilers. Spoilers are a type of consent violation. Think of it that way. You are violating that person's consent to hear information about something that they don't want to hear about. It's a consent violation. And if we think about it that way, then it's clearly the wrong thing to do.
Absolutely.
So, on that note, folks, don't violate anybody's consent. Ghostly, as a cosplayer, I'd like to have that change as well. Here. Luminous, I recommend logging off until you see Endgame. People have been spoiling this like crazy. I mentioned this in a thing I posted on my Facebook. I saw in a period of 1 hour 2 headlines on reputable sites, IGN and Esquire, that had spoilers in the headlines.
Yeah, I've been avoiding all that stuff. Thankfully, my friends on Facebook, most of my friend groups, have a very, and this is the benefit to having a primarily nerd-based friend group. Whatever whether they're cosplayers, performers, fire readers, circus artists, we're all nerds at the end, and so none of us want that. So I've been really safe being able to go and do things on Facebook, and then there are just other sites I'm just avoiding. I know that. Like, I'm not on Twitter at all. Like, I know where to be. Like, So no, I take responsibility on that.
But don't do it.
Other people, yeah, just don't do it.
Don't do it. So, folks, thank you for joining us tonight. Once again, I'm Rodney Brown, the editor-in-chief of Nerd Caliber, joined by Byron D0, a Weeb Trash Can, and possibly twitch.tv/Byron D0 later on tonight. Gogo Incognito, performing when, Gogo?
We have a show this Saturday.
May 4th.
May the 4th, yes. And again, you can find that at www.dirtynerdyburlesque.com. So it's gonna be a great show.
Awesome. Ghostly, thank you. I bet you're amazing too. Good night, folks. And if you do get off social media entirely, come back by next Tuesday.
We'll see you then. Bye.
Dyslexicon, welcome back, and sorry. Yep, it's the end of the show. Bye-bye.